Lippman and family in memory of Malka Bat Pinchas. Friends of Herb Jeremiah Tzvi Ben Zev, friends of Sam Coleman Shmuel Ben Yaakov, friends of Gideon Lazinski Mordechai Shlomo Ben Meir, Bella and David Adler in memory of El Ben Yosef Kohen. Those who were inspired by our Rebbetzin Emerita Sheila Shapiro, Sarah Esther Malka Bat Meshulam Yisachar, Gail and Leslie Kaplan in memory of their parents, Moshe Prince Bat Yosef Chaim Bachava, Hanan Ben Moshe Eliezer Vachana, Pesh Shmuel Yitzchak Halevi Vitzipora, Yisra Ben Yoel Moshe Cohen Vachana, Rex friends of Sherman Gutta Bat Meir, Michael Klein and friends of Judah Klein, Yehutzvi Ben Chaim, Marsha Brana in memory of her husband, Rav Yerachmiel Ben Shmuel, friends and family of Arthur Ritholtz, Mordechai Yudel Ben Baruch Leib HaKohen, friends and family of Siggy Bessler, Shalom Shraga Ben Dov, friends of Marvin Weinstein, Mordechai Ozer Ben Yisrael Aharon. Tova and Leo Zimmer in memory of her mother, Enya Bad Reb Beryl, Bee Pizer in memory of her husband, Harav Yisrael Chaim Ben David, Rabbi Avi and Lorraine Glad in memory of Pacey's brother, Chaim David Ekman, Perry and Jill Meltzer in memory of his mother, Malka Bat Baruch, and his sister, Golda Leah Bat David Halevi. Today is the 12th. There are no individual days of learning today. Jay, you had an announcement? So the learning today is right, and may it be for a fourth shlema for those, right? Oh my. Okay, may Hashem is having Aliyah, crank her field, healthy Yeshua Hashem with Aliyah. Hope it is from good bench. The other guys. Yeah.
Yeah. In Israel, they run yeah.
Okay, Rabosai. We had proposed. First of all, where are we? We are. Rabbi Marlola, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines from the bottom on Ayin Amud Beis. Rabbi Marlola. No, we're on Ayin Amud Beis. We have a little bit left on Ayin Amud Beis. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 lines. 6 lines from yeah. Ayin Amud Beis. Ayin Amud Beis. 6 lines from the bottom. Rabbi Marlola in the end of the line. Yesterday we were trying to understand how could it be that the Brisa taught us that a guy who shechted on Shabbos would be who sold on Shabbos, since selling is not an Issa D'Oraisa, if he sold on Shabbos, why should he be exempt from the fine? Because he's not going to be killed. So we tried to figure out a way yesterday that. He said, I will acquire. The sale will go through. Go pick a fig from my tree, and I buy the cows. You take the payment for my tree, and I buy the cow. So he said there. So you see, as the seller who's selling it picks from the tree, the sale goes through, and he's been Michal Shabbos and Chayiv to be killed. The only thing is the Gemara rejected it. They said why? He said, because it's a very strange thing. Since the rule has come late with the Rabbi Mineh, and he's not going to be obligated, we have a case that the sale is not a sale. You can't say that he's not paying 4 and 5 because he's being killed. He's not paying 4 and 5 because he's not. There's no sale. Why? Because if the guy who bought it would now come and say, here, take him to court. Give me my cow. We can't force him to give the cow. Why? Because it's a monetary obligation that he incurred when he became Chayiv Misa. He doesn't give it. So the Gemara above rejected Rami Bar Chama's proposal. And for that reason, gave a whole different proposal with putting it from the public domain to the private domain. Yeah, but over here, but the Gemara says now the Gemara says really what he says. I really shouldn't. I don't have to reject Rami Bar Chama for this reason. Why? Because I'm going to show you a proof, and this is understand. Yesterday's principle was if the buyer cannot collect what he bought, the sale is no sale. Now I'm going to show you a proof that even when a buyer is prohibited from collecting what he bought, the sale's still a sale. It's a sale, but the sale went through, but he can't get it in court. Maybe the guy, remember, if he grabs it, maybe it'll be his. The guy owes him Mishamayim, all kinds of other possibilities. But here, I'll show you that even if a guy can't legally collect what he bought, the sale is still a sale. Yeah. Okay. Rav Amar la'olam Kohen Bar Chama. So Rav said, listen, and we can leave it the way Bar Chama is. And as to the rejection that you rejected, that since the buyer can't collect, the sale was no sale, and there's no reason for the Brisa to say that he's exempt from 4 and 5 because he's getting killed. He's exempt from 4 and 5 because he never sold it. Yeah. So the Gemara says, no, I'll prove you from the case of what? Of the payment of a prostitute. I'll show you that even when you can't collect what you bought, the sale is still a sale. Etam, we learned that the price of a prostitute, Asra Torah. The Brisa tells me it's forbidden, and it's forbidden no matter what. Bafila Ba'al Imo. Even if a guy lived with his mother and he made a deal, he's going to give her a sheep. He lived with his mother, he's going to pay her with a sheep. So at the moment that he owes her the sheep, he's have to be killed for living with his mother. And nevertheless, be Tavale, Kaman Bedina. And if she, and same thing. So now his mother's going to take him to court. Listen, before they kill you, give me my sheep, please. Before they kill her, whatever. Yeah, whatever happened, new babies against it. But he says, what? Me, I'm reading like come etnan. He says, listen, pay her the etnan. It's the same thing. He's me. He doesn't have to pay her. But we see Ella. But what? Awful God. But we said what that the etnan is forbidden even his mother. So you see what the Torah said that the that she acquired the sheep. Even it's considered the deal went through, even though she can't go and force legally to get the sheep. You see what? Even if she take him to court, they can't make him give it because he's going to be killed. But let's say he did give it to her. If he would give it to her, no, heavy yet none. It's still the price of a prostitute. The same thing in the case of Rami Bar Chama, even though in the case where he sold it on Shabbos by picking the fig, which made him Chai Bisa, and even though when the buyer would come and say, "Give me my sheep, Itava Bedina, come on," okay, we don't make him pay. It doesn't matter, but still the sale is a sale. Since the sale is a sale, I would really think he should really be Chai on 4 and 5. And the only reason he's not Chai on 4 and 5 is because he's being killed, and therefore once we can really defend Rami Bar Chama. I should have finished up the last line. Okay, no, even though we don't say to him Zil Shlim, when I stop line in the middle, I feel hockey. Nevertheless, came to call since he is selling it. Okay, at that moment, Havi Mechira, it's a good sale, even though he can't collect. Okay, now we're about to start a very interesting thing. Simply to get the lay of the land, because it's going to be essentially one simple argument, but with a lot of details. The argument is like this: when we learned in the Mishnah that if a guy shechted in Yom Kippur that he doesn't have to pay 4 and 5, he said, "What's the reason?" Because Yom Kippur, unlike Shabbos, even though Yom Kippur you're forbidden to do malachas just like you're forbidden on Shabbos, but the punishment is kares, based and doesn't kill a guy for doing a malacha on Yom Kippur. So therefore, since he's not going to be killed, so we're following the opinion. We're following the opinion that even when there's kares, the person still has to pay. The person still has to what? Even when there's car race, the person still has to pay the monetary payment. It doesn't exempt him from. We have opinion, yes, but we're saying it doesn't exempt him. Okay, good. That's all fine. Okay. The only thing is we have a big problem because remember there's Rabbi at first glance. Okay, is not limited to the death penalty. It also applies by whipping. If you whip a guy, he also doesn't pay. He also pay a monetary payment. So look, by Yom Kippur, we're going to see in 1 second. By Yom Kippur, you may not get killed, but you still whip the guy. It says you can't do any malacha. It's still negative precept. He gets whipped for any negative precept. We can whip a guy.
When does Kares take place?
That's a a lot of discussion about it, Tosis. Okay, well, Mr. Hashem will come to. We'll bring a few.
60,
we'll bring a few opinions. Hashem should protect us.
Even collect Social Security.
That's
That's crazy.
That's it's something. Jewish people don't like to waste money. You should know that the classic joke. They're all gone now. But when we were younger, so the Jewish people used to go to the Catskills. First of all, the Catskills, did not start out as a thing for rich people. That's not how it began. By the way, it was because of polio. It was because of polio. Rahman al-Islam. It was hot in the city, and people with no money, they did anything to get the kids out of the city in the summertime to protect them. That was why they weren't rich. They had no money. They sent the women to a room. When I was a kid, we shared with another family. With like this, I brought my tush on the oven. There was no space in the place. Yeah. That's right. It was to stay away from polio. They people with no money, but sent the kids. No, there was not. Then Baruch Hashem, Jews got money, so they. No, there's something about the summertime. It's more rampant in the summer. Yeah, I don't know why, but there's something with the summertime. So they would do anything just to get the kids out of there. You understand? Because of Paul Rahman al-Islam.
Swimming pools in the city.
Of the virus. But anyways, later, so Baruch Hashem, Jews had money too, so you had luxury resorts. Once you had luxury resorts, but it was famous. So what's the problem? What's the problem in the resorts? Everybody knows. What happens. You come up, you have breakfast. Then you have a morning tea, then a snack, another thing. You're eating all day long. So the famous thing, the Jewish couples at the big resort in the Catskills, they're really sick of eating. They can't eat another thing. He says, Basha, they're having already the afternoon tea with cookies. She says, I can't. She says, look, what we paid for it. That's we cannot go. We paid for it. You got to eat it. You're gonna let it go.
To change your dress for the truck.
Yeah. So we listen. It's a big deal. Say we knew it. It's a big factor. Social Security, this and that. Who wants to get courage? You're going to miss out on Social Security. It's a big deal. We don't waste money. Instead, whatever it is, we're not going to lose out. We already put the work in. That's what we should tell people. Don't do acts of cards because you won't get your Social Security. It's a good musser. You got a good. You put all that work in, you're not going to get Social Security.
Yeah, but you get the life insurance.
That's right. I get life insurance. Okay, so now. So what we're going to propose is here. This is the get lay of the land. We're going to propose. Don't worry. There's a Rabbi Meir who holds at what that holds at what that by Malkos we don't say come up or come late by the Rabbi Meir. A guy can get whipped and also pay. In order to do that, though, we're going to have to solve a big contradiction from a brisa. We have to solve a big contradiction from a brisa. So we'll solve a contradiction from a brisa, and then we have a lot of problems explaining the brisa itself. So until we get finished, and then when we finish with all, so we to say our mission is Rabbi Meir is going to have to solve problems with the brisa. Once we have the brisa, we're going to have to solve a lot of problems in the brisa itself. And once we're done, we'll come back to the original proposition. So it depends. There's a limit. Okay, but it's not. I'm going to hold this. It's not. Yeah, but remember the whole idea. The whole idea is there's a custom. Remember, it's not simply logical. I tease about it all the time. What's made? So what? The guy did. What?
You can't.
Yeah. What's the problem? Hey, I don't care. Here, you give me. I'm going to kill you, but please give me my $5 first. Before I kill you, give me my $5. What's one thing? What's one thing have to do with the other? I worked hard for the $5. Give it back. I'm serious. I'm just thinking. Hashem said no for various reasons. So why should I lose my $5? You're my best friend. I'm sorry you're dying, but give me my $5. But please give me my $5.
I'm not saying.
I met. Yeah, I don't know if you know. There's a famous. You know the story of the kid who stepped on the Gaon's talus. There's a story. The Gaon gave a young guy a bracha, and he lived a very long life. To show you how long the guy lived, I met a guy who met that kid. So the kid was at what happened? What's the story? The kid steps on the Gaon's talus. So the Gaon looked at him. He said, "Listen," he said, "you should live a long life, but get off my talus." So the guy lived no longer. Anyway, okay, get ready. So now get ready. So he said, if a guy stole and he shechted it on Yom Kippur, which is only what a kares punishment. So we said what? We said that he's putter on the 4. He has to pay the 4 and 5 because there's no capital punishment. Amri, they said, Amai, why should that be true? You're right. He's not going to get capital punishment. He's not going to get killed. He's still going to get whipped just for like any other negative precept. The kind of local because our opinion in general is what? That just like you don't get killed in pay, a person also doesn't get whipped in pay. Amri, they said, Amani Rebbe Meir. Don't worry. You have to say our Mishnah. is according to the opinion of Rabbi Meir. Why? Because Rabbi Meir was of the unique opinion, Loka Mashalim. He held a what? But by Malchus, we don't say Kol Maybe the Rabbi Meir. By Malchus, you get whipped, and you do pay. Gemara says, now 1 second. That's very nice, except I have a problem. Because further on, the same Mishnayos that we're learning are going to teach us the opposite. Why? Ika Rabbi Meir, Afilu Tabach B'Shabbos. Okay, according to Rabbi Meir, what? How come you told me this is Rabbi Meir? And the reason he has to pay is what? Because he holds you get whipped and you do pay. He says it should be also what? That even if he shechted on Shabbos, he should still have to pay the 4 and 5. Okay, even if he shechted on Shabbos, he should have to pay the 4 and 5. Why? Because we're going to assume that he doesn't hold the principle of Kam Leib D'Rabbi Minei. If you tell me no, you're making a mistake. He holds that there's no Kam Leib D'Rabbi Minei by what? By whipping. Mason Misham Leslie, but he doesn't hold. But he doesn't hold that there's no Kam Leib D'Rabbi Minei by killing. So of course, if he shechs on Shabbos, he has to be killed. I said, below. You said, what do you mean? Well, no, not so. It's not true. I'll show you. The Rabbi Meir holds no Kam Leib D'Rabbi Minei, not by whipping and not by killing. Well, Tanya did. We learned Gala b'Tabach b'Shabbos. We learned in a brisa. Be careful. In a brisa, that if he stole and he shechted on Shabbos, Gala b'Tabach l'Avodah, or if he shechted it and if he shechted it for the sake of Avodah, all these things are death penalties. Gala b'Shar Niskal, or if he stole an ox that was already obligated to be killed, okay, as we were already obligated to be killed, and it's already usher. No, he's killing a thing that belongs to nobody. Utavacho in all these cases, I said wrong. He stole a shore that has to be killed. In all these cases, if he shechted it, he still has to pay 4 and 5 for all these things. Rabbi Meir, this is Rabbi Meir's opinion. The Chachamim Potri and the rabbis disagree. So you see clearly what he does hold, even by when he's going to be killed, because he was shechting for the sake of Avodah Zarah, he's going to be killed, and you still pay the 4 of the 5. So you see, he doesn't hold doesn't hold completely, not by whipping and not by killing. So I can't let you. So you're stuck. You're teretz that this mission is Rabbi Meir is not going to solve it because then we should also have said by Shabbos, right? The same thing, like we learn later. Amar Bamineda, he says, listen, he says, forget. He says, that brisa, he says, you're wrong. That brisa that said that when he gets killed, that he pays 4 and 5 for the Avodah Zarah, he says, Bamineda, he says, you're making a mistake. The Hoyt Barlasi, because that case was really what? The brisa that you're talking about was really what? Amr Rabbi Yaakov, Amr Rabbi Yochanan, Amri Lo, Amr Rabbi Yirmi, Amr Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, Rabbi Abin, Rabbi Lo, Chol Kabura Mishmeid, Rabbi Yochanan, Amri. Finally, they said, the case there was what? You know why he's paying? Because he didn't do the shechting himself. He sent it to shechting like anybody does. Like most of us do. Most of us don't shecht our own stuff. I said he sends it to another guy, and the guy decided to shecht. The guy shechted it on Shabbos. So even though the shechter it has to be killed, but he himself didn't incur the death penalty. He sold it, and he didn't incur the death penalty. So therefore, he has to pay the 4 and 5. So really, what? Now we're back in business again. Our Mishnah is Rabbi Meir, and Rabbi Meir holds what? Rabbi Meir holds, this is the keep score. Rabbi Meir holds what? There's no Kam Leib D'Rabbi Minei by Allah, but there is Kam Leib D'Rabbi Minei what? By Misa. So therefore, on Shabbos, he's exempt from the 4 and 5. And Yom Kippur, he's higher than the 4 and 5, even though he's going to be what? Even though he's whipped. Why? Did he give a case where for the Tvicha, he's getting the death penalty, and yet he's going to pay, not because he rejects Kam Leib D'Rabbi death penalty, because over there he's not the one who incurred the death penalty. It was shechted, right? It was shechted by a shaliach. It was shechted by a shaliach. Pardon me, on Shabbos. It says 1 second. How can it be that this guy sins? This guy, the shaliach, sinned by shechting, and this guy, the guy who sent him, he's going to have to pay them 4 and 5. Amarav, he says yes. He says shaliach. He says that's right. Why? He says even through a shaliach, he still be chayav. Why? Because the pasuk said shaliach. The Amar Krakus, the pasuk says tavachal umacharo, and it put in that position the shechting and the selling, which is a comparison. Ma mechira not aideacher. Just like you can't sell without a partner, you have to buy it. He has to buy it. You need somebody to help you sell it. You need somebody to buy it. So also over here, aftricha, also what? Also the shechting he can do aideacher. He can do it by means of someone else. Now we have 2 other ways to say that, but the main point is what we're saying. He's going to be chayiv even though it's a shaliach. Here, there's other ways. The Bei Rabbi Shmuel Tana, we learned the following. Since it's tabach o machar. or the Rabbis HaShliach. That extra language is there to include even when he did it through a Shliach. And the Bechizkiya Tana, they learned another way, what? That tachas and the word in place of the Rabbis HaShliach. So either way, we do it. So we're still in business. We've defended that our Mishnah is Rabbi Meir, and Brisa we attributed to what being done through a Shliach. Maskif law, Rabbi Marzitra. What's that? That's the whole point. There's no Kamlei bin Rabbi. That's what we're. Even though really it should be Kamlei bin Rabbi because he's getting the death penalty, it's not because he's not getting the death penalty because of the shliach. Is it him not? Right. So that's why. So that's why he pays. So that's why even though it's Shabbos, he pays for it. That's why he's going to pay the 4 and 5. That's what he's. Why is he paying the 4? He's not getting killed. The poor shliach is getting killed, but he's
A general principle.
yes. But we have
Against.
So it depends how they. Not everybody made the same drushes. Not everybody made the same drushes from the psukim. That's what we're going to see. Okay. Now, Maskif law Marzutra. Okay. So now again, keeping score, we're okay. The Mishnah is Rabbi Meir. The Brisa that was Machayim on Shabbos is a unique circumstance.
It could also be Meir.
Yeah. Okay, now Maskif law Marzutra. Okay, it is Rabbi. Yeah, Maskif law Marzutra. Okay, now Marzutra has the kasha. 1 second. How can you make a guy pay 4 and 5 when the shliach did it? Because we have a general principle, and this is a very important principle. You can't make a guy obligated for the shliach doing something where it's not equivalent. What do you mean to say? You have a case here, if he did it, he wouldn't be chayav. If he had shechted the animal, he wouldn't be chayav 4 and 5 because he's going to get killed. And now that the shliach did, he's going to be obligated. How can the shliach be obligated more than he would obligate himself? If he would shecht it himself, he wouldn't be obligated. Why? Because he has the death penalty. And now the shliach is going to do it, and he's not going to be obligated, and he's going to be obligated. How can the shliach obligate him more than he can obligate him? So the shliach can't do more than what you cannot find in the ben in the tolada more than you find in the source. So how can I find in the shliach, who's only an extension of the owner? How can the shliach mechayev the owner, but the owner can't mechayev himself? He's only a proxy for the guy. Now listen, the Gemara makes such a beautiful chiluk. Amar Levashi said, no. See, you made a big mistake. You made a big mistake over here. He says, awesome. He says, Alabdullah mechayevu. He says, you're making a mistake. The guy doesn't pay the 4 and 5 when he gets a death penalty. It's not because he's not obligated to 4 and 5. You made a big mistake. You think because not paying is not he's obligated, but what? Ella, God decreed that we're not going to take the money. He incurred the monetary penalty. He's higher, but Hashem said don't pay. He's not going to pay. That's right, high, but he's not going to pay. So don't say the shliach is being machayim, but he was also machayim himself. But just he's not paying. The fact that the one though it's not paying doesn't mean he's not obligated. He was obligated, but Hashem gave it. Hashem gave right. Hashem gave it override. Okay, now, Still, we're still bickering. We're still bickering about the way you read the brisa. If you want to say what really happened to the brisa was, he said the shaliach. He says, "Time of the rabban of the patri." 1 second. How come the rabbis then exempted him? And now you explained to me so beautifully why he's chayav. Why? Because he didn't incur the death penalty. So how come the rabbis disagree? Amri, so they said, Man chachamim, and who is the chacham of the brisa? It's Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon is the one who held in our Mishnah. Any shchita that doesn't make the meat permissible is not a shchita that makes you pay 4 and 5. Now over here, what? We're gonna have to see in a second. 1 second. We're gonna see where we get that from. Who said why is the meat why is the meat not good meat for Shabbos? On Shabbos we'll see. Army, they say 1 second. Bishlam, that's a good explanation of the brisa. Avodah Zarah b'shar niskal. I understand why you'll disagree, and you'll disagree, and you'll say what that he doesn't have to pay by Avodah Zarah and by shar niskal. Where b'shchita shenuri in both of those cases. The meat is itself is also okay. The meat itself is also also along. When you shecht it for Avodah Zarah, the oxen has to be killed. The meat is also by law. Okay, Ella Shabbos. Okay, Shabbos shchitari. 1 second. But if you shecht an animal on Shabbos, the meat doesn't become forbidden. Okay, it doesn't become forbidden. Why we go to Tanan? This is really, I think, it's not really a Mishnah. We'll see this. Yeah, I think it's really the time. The Tanan Shochet b'Shabbos Yom Kippurim. He said if a guy shechs on Shabbos and Yom Kippur, Awful Pishim is Chayiv and Nafsha, even though what he's Chayiv on the death penalty, okay, or theoretically, Shchitasa Gshera. His Shchita is still good. So the family can still come and have dinner with him before we kill him. The meat is still kosher. He's a from Shochet. He's not a from Shabbos guy. I'm just teasing. It's a big problem. But anyway, the meat's still kosher. Yeah. No, when a guy serves Avodah Zarah, the meat is also. So we shech for Avodah Zarah, the meat's also. But the kasha was by Shabbos. How come by Shabbos, if you shech on Shabbos, the meat's still kosher?
And that's only.
So Amr, they said no. So the answer is we're going to bring an opinion that holds what? That Maisa Shabbos, the product of doing Malach on Shabbos, is Aser Midoraisa Bachila. It's forbidden to eat from the Torah. We're going to have a unique opinion that if a guy makes food on Shabbos, prepares food by breaking the Shabbos, that it's Aser Midoraisa to eat that food. And therefore what? And therefore the rabbis are going to hold like what? They're going to hold like Rabbi Yochanan Hasandlar, that meat is also bahana, and therefore they're going to say what? You can't incur the penalty of 4 and 5 because you didn't do a proper shechita. But that was the machlokas on our Mishnah. Rabbi Shimon said if the shechita doesn't allow a human to eat it, it's not a shechita that incurs 4 and 5. So that's the opinion of the rabbis. It's really Rabbi Shimon against Rabbi Meir. Amri, they said what? Sabri like Rabbi Yochanan Hasandlar. Why? Because he holds like Rabbi Yochanan Hasandlar. Why? The Tanan, because we learned on Mavasha b'Shabbos. Now this is famous 3 opinions. I'm going to say that simply this itself is a big discussion. 3 opinions on Shabbos. If a guy cooks on Shabbos, b'shogeg, this first opinion, if he cooked by mistake, yochel, okay, he can eat it. Even he himself can eat it on Shabbos. But amazing, if he cooked it purposely, lo yochel, he can't eat it on Shabbos. But afterwards, okay, you wait, he can eat. Everybody can eat. Dibri Rabbi Meir, that's Rabbi Meir's opinion, the most lenient. Rabbi Yehuda Omer b'shogeg, he says, Rabbi Yehuda says no. If he cooked it even b'shogeg by mistake, yochel b'motzei Shabbos, he can still only eat it after Shabbos, after it's enough time to prepare it. Okay, and b'mezid, if he cooked it purposely, lo yochel, he himself can olamas. He himself is not allowed to eat it forever, and other people can eat it after Shabbos after the right amount of time. But Yochanan Sadler, with his opinion, we're looking for. Yochanan Sadler says what? B'shogeg yochel. Okay, if it was b'shogeg, okay, you're allowed to eat it l'motzei Shabbos lachem. Only other people can eat it after Shabbos, after enough time has passed. But lo, and he can't even eat it l'motzei Shabbos. Okay, ever. He can't eat it all. Okay, and b'mezid, anybody who cook b'mezid, it can never be eaten, not for him, not for us. So for what? So this is the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan Sadler. So it's Rabbi Shimon Aliba, the Rabbi Yochanan Sadler, that what? That Shabbos also, the meat is awesome. Good. Yeah. Now, and therefore what? It's not a shita that makes it mutter to eat. Yeah. What was the reasoning of Rabbi Yochanan Sadler? How do you know that Ma'aser Shabbos is usher forever? Because the Dorish Bechia Pitka the Beinasiyah, like he taught at the doorway of the Beinasiyah, Shabbos, ki kodesh yilachem. It said keep the Shabbos because it is kodesh. And what do you mean to say ma kodesh? Okay, and it's what? And we're really looking what? Because the Gemara is comparing Avodah Zarah to Shabbos. Ma kodesh asubachila, just like what hegdesh in the Beis Hamikdash is forbidden to eat. You can't take it. Also, things from Shabbos are forbidden. They're sanctified. You're not allowed, that were worked on Shabbos. You're forbidden to eat them. He said, 1 second. He said, 1 second. If that's true, then why only learning a prohibition for eating? Then Kodesh is also Shabbos. They should say also what? That also the product of a forbidden malach on Shabbos should be also Bahanah. Talmud Loma knows it's Kodesh Lechem. It's Kodesh Ilachem to you. So it's both Kodesh and yours. What? Make up your mind. What is it? It's your. It's even though it's forbidden to eat, it's still yours. I mean, what? You can still get benefit. Yochol afilu. Now, would you think that rule where the Torah is even by mistake? Talmud Lomar mechalaleha mos yumas. It has to be what? Those who transgress it will surely die. And from there we learn what dafka b'mezid. It's only if you do it on purpose. Amarti lecha v'lo b'shogeg and not shogeg. Okay, no. So far so good. Okay, now we're in good shape. We basically have the Brisa settled down. The Rabbanan is Rabbi Shimon. I'll leave it to Rabbi Yochanan Sadler. The Brisa is Rabbi Meir. But what? But it's in a case of what? Of a shaliach. And our Mishnah is Rabbi Meir who holds what? That there's no kamlei but the Rabbi Minei by Malchus. Okay, let's keep the score. Pligi ba Rabach Rabina. There was machlokas by Ma'aser Shabbos according to Yochanan Sadler. Once we're on the subject, we're still mopping up of the Brisa. They have an argument about what the opinion of Yochanan Sadler is. Rabach Rabina. They argued. Ma'aser Shabbos, the Raisa. One of them said what? That Rabbi Yochanan Sadler's opinion was everything was learned truly, like we just learned. The Raisa is from the Torah. The Ma'aser Shabbos, the one said no. Even according to Yochanan Sadler, the whole din of Ma'aser Shabbos is all a rabbinic decree. Mandar Deraisa Kadama. The opinion that says Deraisa is what we just learned. The whole way we just defended everything was according to the opinion that what the Riach Sandler is Deraisa. Umanda Amar Duraban, but the one that says Duraban. So what do you do? We had a pasuk. We learned. Remember Kodesh. We compared Kodesh of Shabbos to Kodesh of what? Of the Kodesh of the Beis Hamikdash. Okay, Shabbat Kodesh. Okay, so Amar Kra, he says Duraban because they're going to learn either of them from the very same pasuk. Learn the opposite. It says Kodeshu. It is Kodesh. What is that? Okay, who Kodesh? Okay, Beimasa Kodesh. Shabbos is holy and not the actions of Shabbos. They learn exactly the opposite from the same drasha. Instead of comparing it to Hegdesh, they said, no, it's sanctified Shabbos and not the actions of Shabbos. Okay, good now. 1 second, but you're leaving it high and dry. You just shot us in the foot. Bishlam of the Mandam of the Raisa. That's very good. According to them, a guy who said the Raisa, like we just said, Tulahachi. Okay, that makes sense because of that Patra Rabbanan. That's why we explained our Brisa so nicely. That the rabbis of the Brisa, who's Rabbi Shimon, said that he doesn't have to pay 4 and 5 because the shita was no good because the shita is not a shita that makes the meat mutter because it's also because of Shabbos. But if you're going to hold Rabbanan, we're finished. Our whole answer is out the window. Am I Patra Rabbanan? But again, even if you hold Rabbi Shimon, why is he Potter? Shabbos is not also b'chila b'deraisa. Even if it's also the Rabbanan, it doesn't make a difference from the Torah. It's still good. You'd have to pay them 4 and 5. He says, you know what? He says they didn't Potter all of them. Ashara, they didn't Potter all the cases. Meaning what? They Potter Avodah Zarah, yes, and Shar Niskal, yes, because there the meat is really aser b'chila, but they didn't Potter Shabbos. One second. This is one word. So hold on. Rabbi Meir, 1 second. Why does Rabbi Meir obligate shechting avodah zarah? I'm going to show you in a minute that if a guy shechted for avodah zarah, why does he have to pay 4 and 5 if he shechted for avodah zarah? How can it be? He says, "Came in the shachit b'porta." Yeah, why is he? We have to think about this for a second. Here, shechita starts at a certain point and it completes at a certain point. But if I hold that shechting is called shechting, even before it's finished, the second you start shechting, you're already shechting. Yeah. No, I didn't say that. I'm not saying that. Here, but it's actually debate because look, do I say shechita only occurs at the last second? I know. Though I'm shechting the whole time, but I'm not done till I'm finished. But the second I start shechting, I'm shechting. If you hold your shechting from the first second, so when did he incur the penalty of 4 and 5?
When he breaks the skin.
Yeah. Well, no, the other way. If you're shechting from the minute you start, even though the meat's not kosher yet, no, but I'm shechting. Hey, give me a minute. Here, you think I'm a fast talker now? I'm a slow talker now. I used to talk much faster than this. Much faster. I'm
kosher yet. You're not mechuyev.
Okay, that's what I bring out. 1 second. So no. Here, so I'm going to tell you 1 second. So I used to talk much faster than I talk now. So I'll tell you 1 second. So I'm traveling all over the world. Running from one place to another. So I finally, for the first time in my life, I get to Memphis. They don't talk so fast in Memphis. Yeah, much slower. So I get to Memphis. I'm in a Rebbitz's house, and I'm dead time running from plane to airplane. She comes, she says, can I get you anything? I said, I'd love a cup of coffee. Okay. She's going here, there. 10 minutes. I'm not going to tell you. 10 minutes passed. 10 minutes passed. So I want a cup of coffee. I said, if you just give me a spoon with the coffee, I said, I can make it myself. So she realized I'm in a rush. She says, I'm getting it. She knows it's funny. Just slow down, buddy. I'm getting there. Now, what's happening over here? Here, he says, I started shechting. I'm not done yet, but I'm shechting. The second I put the knife into the meat, I'm shechting. You're right. The meat won't be kosher. In other words, the act of shechita doesn't mean that the meat's kosher. I started. You're right. Until I finish it, the meat's not going to be kosher. But I'm shechting. This minute. So now, came in the shachei beporta. Since the first second, the knife enters the neck. No, the knife begins to enter the neck. Asra, okay, what? So I already said what? Since he's shechting for avodah zarah, he's doing an act. He's doing an act of serving the avodah zarah. If you shecht for avodah zarah, you're serving the avodah zarah. The second the knife enters the meat, he's already serving avodah zarah. So what? And therefore what? And what? And therefore the meat, the whole cow becomes what?
Asur Ba'ana, and therefore what? So therefore, and if it's Asur Ba'ana, he's not shechting his friend's cow anymore. He said the cow doesn't belong to anybody. It's ownerless. It's forbidden to use. He says, Idich, all the rest of the shechting until he's not going to finish it is Asur Ba'ana. But lo demar katava, he never shechted. He never successfully shechted his friend's animal. That's a good question. I mean, it would seem to me that it's Asur anyway because we just said. Yeah, once he started, because he can do tshuva. Maybe he'll do tshuva, but we can't change the fact. This is a book. Here, I give out books for people to write in my yeshiva. I give out books. You want to write a good book? Here's one. It's so clear. It's quite possible, often, that we're going to kill a guy who's a bigger tzaddik than we are. It's quite possible. There's all kinds of cases where a guy will do something, high death penalty, the tshuva gemura. He's really a good guy. And he lost his mind for me. He was in. Who knows who we kill? Even when we kill a guy, the guy could be a big thing. The tshuva ready and everything. He could be bigger than us. We still got to kill him. What's the difference? I got books over here. If you want assignments, I got for PhD or PhDs. I got a lot of books. I used to come out in the yeshiva. You want to start a PhD? I'll give you a book to write. Anyway, that's one. You'll see. So I'm shutting the count. I'm getting there. So the point is what? Okay. Okay. So you understand what's happening here. We're saying, listen, it's a beautiful point. How can Rabbi Meir machayev a guy? Okay. How can he machayev the guy for the 4 and 5? Okay. For the 4 and 5. For the 4 and 5. Yeah. He's not checking his friend's behemoth. The behemoth became Asur Ba'ana the second he started, right? Okay. The lav demar kotava. So he never shechted the animal that belonged to his friend. Okay, and therefore what? Amaravi says, don't worry. He says, but Omer, I'll tell you what, it's a case where he said, listen, I'm not finishing and I'm not doing it till the end. He says, I'm here. He says, I'm only serving the Avodah Zarah when I successfully shech the animal. I don't want to start serving the Avodah Zarah when I start. I want to do a good geschmack Avodah Zarah and do a kosher complete shlita and give that to the Avodah Zarah. So what he said, you're right. Really,
draining all the blood.
No, it's just cutting the cutting.
Yeah. Okay, so what's a special case? Okay, says the Gemara. Okay, it says 1 second, but still, why Shor Niskal? Why is he chayiv according to a mayor? Why is he chayiv on Shor Niskal? Forget about whether the meat is kosher or not. He says he's surah non. The same thing. What Shor Niskal? The animal that has to be stoned for killing a man is also Asur Ba'ana. Lav demar kotav. At the same point, he's not shechting somebody else's animal. Don't worry. He says, this is what we are talking about. Shemasur l'shomer. Okay, what? That he gave it over to the owner. He gave it to a shomer. No, the original owner gave it to a shomer. And everything happened by the shomer. The hizik be shomer, and in the house of the watchman, and under the guardianship of the watchman, so to speak, under the ownership of the watchman. It did damage. But who had the base of shomer, and it was taken to court and testified against, but on the domain of the shomer. Meaning by Dino ve shomer, and the psak din what that he has to put that the animal has to be stoned was by the shomer. Rabbi Meir Soverlok Rabbi Yaakov and because he holds two unique opinions, the guy's going to be chayav. Number one, Soverlok Rabbi Yaakov, he holds like Rabbi Yaakov Damar half missioning by Dino. And he holds that what? Because we hold damage that's unrecognizable, a person is not obligated for. So if the shomer caused this animal to become forbidden in benefit, you can't see that in the animal. It's hezek shein nikar. You don't see anything is wrong with it. He can give it back to the owner and say, hey, thanks. So yeah, here's your cow back. And the guy, even though it's worthless, here, take a photograph. It's the same cow you gave me. I gave it back to you. This is Bessie, and it's your cow. Goodbye, Charlie. So number one, he holds what? That he has a right to give back the worthless cow and be putter. But Soverlok Rabbi Shimon, and he holds like Rabbi Shimon the Amar, who says what? Unlike what we learned earlier, a thing that in itself is not valuable but causes a person to profit is also called money. So remember we learned before, one of our opinions was that a star, for example, a paper that says Reuben owes Shimon money, we say that's not moment. It's not money. Why? Because the paper's nothing, and but if you can use it to get money. So if we say that davar hagorim l'mamon, a thing that brings about profit, is not itself money. Okay, but what if I say no? a thing that brings about money is itself that the value. The star, if the star is written and you get $1,000, the star is itself $1,000. The Tanan, Rabbi Shimon holds what? So, for example, here you're going to hold what? You're going to hold what? That anything that would make me money is money, and you are liable for that money. So, for example, let's say a guy said, "Listen, I have to bring a carbon." So you know the difference. If a guy says Z carbon or carbon or like carbon, what's the difference? If a guy says, I obligate myself to bring a carbon. Now, if he brings a carbon and something happens to it, what does he have to do? He has to bring another one. Something happens to that one, he has to bring another one. If a guy says, this is a carbon, if something happens, he's put there. Goodbye, Charlie. He said, that was the carbon. Oh, so sorry. It disappeared. But if he says, I have to bring a carbon 1,000 times, if Hashem keeps knocking out the carbon, he has to go bring another one. Now, if a guy said, this is I have to bring a carbon. Okay, I have to bring an ola, and okay, and therefore what? Okay, and if a guy was obligated to guard it, okay, chayav, he's gonna have to what? He's gonna have to pay 4 and 5 for that thing. Why is that? Because since he took away, as long as that animal was there, the guy didn't have to bring another animal. He was exempt from bringing another animal. When this guy takes away the animal that's going to make him what? Got to bring another animal. He took away his money, so he has to pay 4 and 5. Even though what the animal really, in one respect, belongs to the Beis Hamikdash, it's Kodesh, it belongs to Hashem. But since for this guy it represents the $50 for a new animal or $100 for a new animal, it's called money. So here, what he holds also, you have to say also, a mayor holds that the thing that causes the guy to profit is also called money. And therefore what? So since the thief stole it from the shomer had a right to give back this worthless animal that has to be stolen to the owner, and he took away his ability to give back the counterfeit ox, so to speak. He made him lose money. I don't care what you did. The ox is worthless, but I lost $100. Oh, you have to pay me. So he held what? He has to pay 4 and 5. So really, what the answer is? Your kasha was, it's not his. The answer is no. It actually is his. When he's a shomer, the shore that it's forbidden for benefit, he's able to get benefit from a shore that you can't get benefit from. That's what it really comes down to. Yes, by giving it back. Amrav Kahana. Now let's go back now. We're finally home free. We're back in trouble again. You solved everything. Our mission is really what? It's really Rabbi Meir. It's really Rabbi Meir. Okay? And Rabbi Meir holds what? That there's Kamlei Rabbi Meir by death, but there's not Kamlei Rabbi Meir by Malchus, and the Brisa was a unique situation. Rav Kahana said, I told over the whole sugya. Okay, immediately he says what he said to me. He says, me matzich mukemes mes nisan. And he asked me a kashi. He says, Rabbi Meir, how can you say our Mishnah is Rabbi Meir, but lo Rabbi Shimon? The only guy we know who says what? That there's no kamle b'drabine by Malchus is Rabbi Meir. So everybody else is against him. So what do you mean? You say it's Rabbi Meir and not Rabbi Shimon, who also appears in the same Mishnah? How can you say that? Okay, didn't we learn Rabbi Shimon poter b'shnei elu? Rabbi Shimon exempts you from 4 and 5 in the 2 cases where what? Where the meat's not kosher. Michlal implying what? The kula masnisa moda. The rest he agrees. Well, if everybody in the world disagrees with Rabbi Meir and says what that you don't pay when you're gonna get malchus. So how can we say that on Yom Kippur, according to Rabbi Shimon on Yom Kippur, that you're gonna pay 4 and 5? Amar Lei said to him, he says, no. He says, don't make that inference. Your inference is not necessarily true. You said what? That Rabbi Shimon agrees to everything else? No. In the special eating, he disagreed in the cases where the eating was not allowed by the Shita, but he agreed to the other Shita cases. When it was a case, he did it for medicine. Or to give it to dogs, that since it was, why do you agree? Because since it's still kosher for people, even though the intention was not for people, that's good. But he never meant to say what? That he agrees that on Yom Kippur, that the guy's going to have to pay 4 and 5, because he holds, like everybody else, really, that there is Kamlei b'drabine even by Malchus. Okay, get ready. One more little piece, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful piece. Yeah, beautiful piece. Now, we learned. A guy stole his father's thing and he shechted it or sold it. Okay, and now what? He has to pay 4 and 5. Now, what's the chiddush? Okay, Now, we're going to see what's the whole point. That he paid to his father. Who cares? Of course he paid. Why should he pay his father? Was his father peanut butter? Or is it the case? No, he has to pay what? What happens? What happened? The father dies, and what? He's a partner with his brothers, and even though he's not going to pay himself, he has to pay his brothers. Is that what you're telling me? So we're going to see a problem. Let's take it from a different angle. Boy, Rav Nachman. Rabbi asked this question of Rav Nachman. A guy stole an ox that belonged to two partners, okay, and he shechted it. And then, ironically, he admitted to the theft in front of to one of the partners. So, and you know what? Once a guy admits, he doesn't pay the fine, so he's going to be a partner. Mahu. He says, what's going to happen now when the other guy takes him to court? Is he going to pay what, half of a 4 and 5 or not? Because he admitted one. The one he admitted he's exempt. So can you be exempt? He's exempt on half and chayiv on half. Can you do it? What's the query? What is the quandary? Chamisha Bukar, remember the Torah said pay what, five cattle, okay? Below chamisha chatzai b'achar. When it says cattle, because it could have put the word cattle out. He pays five in place of. No, why say 5 cattle? So we say, I know 5 cattle, whole cattle. Okay, when I say cattle, I mean cattle, not half cattle. He says, when I say cattle, I mean 5 cattle and not 5 half cattle. Oh, deal with that. It's not that. It says, because that's the way you speak, is the 5 cattle. But the Torah's not coming to preclude paying half cattle. Okay? Amar Leis, or Nachman said, you know what? Chamisha Bakar, one of the Chamisha Butzis. That's the correct Russia. The correct Russia is what? 5 cattle and not 5 half cattle, and he's going to be exempt on the half that he owes the friend. So immediately, Rabba asked him a kasha. 1 second. You want to tell me really you don't pay half cattle? I'm going to show you that you do. I'm going to show you from our Mishnah that you do. Take a look. He says, why? Here, take a look. He says, we learned in our Mishnah, he stole his own father's cow, and he shechted it or sold it. The father dies. Now, so what's the whole question? Who's he paying? Who's he paying? He's paying his brother. Let's just make it 2 brothers for now. Let's make it 2 brothers. And he has to pay his brother. No, he has to pay his brother 4 and 5. 1 second. Since his father died, so who owns the cow now? Him and his brother. Okay, and how much he's going to pay? He's not going to pay half to himself. He's going to pay half of 4 and 5. What? To his brother. He's going to pay 5 half cows to his brother. He says, okay, it's the same thing. The same thing is if he exempted himself by one partner, he exempted himself to himself, and he's going to pay his brother. What's his whole fee of now? 4 and 5. 5 half cows. He's going to pay his brother. You still pay it. Okay, so he says, how can you tell me that the drasha? I do pay 5. Our mission said he pays 5 half cows to his brother. What do you want? Okay, so he says, no. He says, you're making a mistake. I'm right what I said. You don't pay 5 half cows. You know why he pays over here? Because the case was the father already took him to court. The father took him to court while he's alive, and the court said, pay your father 5 cows. And then the father died. So now he inherited 5 cows with his brother. So he's not paying his brother half of the fine of 5 cows. He inherited 5 cows with his brother. He's giving him his half. He's not paying half a penalty. He's sharing the 5 that he was awarded. His father was awarded the 5 from him, and he and his brother inherited the 5 that he paid. He's supposed to pay his father. Yes, in the state. He's not paying half of 5. He's giving his brother the half that they both inherited together. That's all. Yeah, right. So you have no proof against me. So the real truth. Therefore, I remain what I said is true. That what. You don't pay 5 half. And if you went to one partner and admitted, then you don't pay the half to the other. You don't pay half to the other guy. It's enough fair.
The half to the other guy. He's just putting 5 into the estate.
No, that was in our case, but the other case that we're arguing about, a guy shechted a cow of the 2 partners, and he admitted to one. Now he says he won't pay the half to the other guy. Why? Because now he's going to pay half of a 5 that you don't pay. That's different. So I says, okay, so wait. Slow down. What are you talking about? Wait. According to you, so what's the upshot? The case of the Mishnah is where what? The father already took him to court and the 2 boys inherited the cows. Let's say the father didn't do the court. So you're saying what? So you're saying what? I'm really right. And therefore what? If the father dies before they go to court, so who's going to court? He's going to court, his brother, so to speak. Okay, they're in court. Okay. And what, you're going to tell me what? He doesn't pay the half to his brother. He says, so now remember the principle I discussed with you a few times. What's the rule? Liflog v'lisnei b'didah. What does that principle mean? We assume that Tanoim write with rigor. What does that mean? Everything they can do, they do. And if they didn't, they couldn't. A person always says as much as he can. We read as little, we read the smallest amount, just enough to justify the speaker. And the speaker says everything that he knows how to say. Your job, if you're in possession of the tradition, you're trying to tell me the widest amount of knowledge that you can tell me. Okay? Here, you want to tell me if the Torah is lenient in such a case, or they have to tell me. So now, if a Mishnah has, let's say, a prohibition, and then in a whole different case, it teaches me a leniency, I can assume that there was no leniency in the original case. Why? Because if it could find a way to be lenient in the original case, instead of going to a new case to be lenient, it would say this case is forbidden. And you know what? But sometimes even this case is permitted. Or the reverse. I could say this case is permitted, and sometimes it's forbidden. But so if I go to a new case to teach the new law, I assume that law couldn't have applied in the original case. Because why? Because if it was, we would say liflog, but listen to me, instead of going to a whole new case, liflog, make your differentiation and teach the leniency or the stringency in the first case. Say, you know what? When is that true? Only in this case, but sometimes it can be different. So if you went to a new case, it means you couldn't do it. So he said, now, slow down. He says, according to you, what was the case of the Mishnah? The case of the Mishnah was the father took him to court. But if the father didn't take him to court, he won't pay half of 4 and 5. Is that correct? So 1 second. What did our Mishnah do? According to you, in the case where he didn't take him to court, he doesn't pay the half 4 and 5. Okay? He says, Yach, if that's true, at the Tani Seifa, why when the Mishnah went to a new case, it told me what Gana Mishal Aviv Mace, if he stole his father's thing, and he died. And only the shechting took place after the father died. And he doesn't pay the 4 and 5 because what? He doesn't pay the 4 and 5 because it's not somebody else's thing. Okay, lifno b'didei. Why, in order to find a case where he didn't pay, why did you only say a case where he shechted afterwards? According to you, there's a case even before the father, even before the father died, that he's not gonna pay. What? Here, when is he going to pay? When the father took him to court. But if the father didn't take him to court, even if he shechted it before the father died, he's not gonna pay.
Right, didn't he shech his own cow?
Right, that's why he's not paying. But that's not paying. Yeah, that's why he's not paying.
The 1 half.
You should split up and say what? Maybe I just said it quickly, right? But no, you tell me when is he going to pay? When are you going to pay? When the father took him to court? If the father didn't take him to court, why he's not going to pay? Why? Because the penalty was never prescribed in the lifetime of the father, and now it's going to be half cows. Amalei said, I said, you're right. He said, the truth is that what you said is true. And in general, that would be a kasha. You're really right. It should have told me the leniency even in the first case. However, in this case, the Tana decided that for purposes of teaching a balanced and memorizable Mishnah, I did Nasi Reisha Gav Mishalabi Machar. Since the first case was what? That he stole it and he shechted it, and then the father died, Nasi Seifa, it went to Nami, it went to the second case and specifically did it in that way. It's the case of what? And you're right, he really could have done it in the first case, but in this case, it was a pedagogical decision. This is me speaking. You're not going to get this every place. This is me speaking. It's a pedagogical decision. And sometimes, even though you're right that that's the general format, here the Tana felt that for the sake of maintaining the tradition, it would be better to write it this way, and people will remember the law properly, as opposed to another way. Keep going. One more second. That's Safra. And after all that was true, Rav Nachman said, "What? You don't pay 5 half cows?" Amarle, he came back and he said, "No." Chamisha bakar rachmano afi chamisha chatzei bakar. He said, "I was wrong. I said wrong. The truth is, you pay even 5 half cows. You do. It's okay." Why didn't I tell you that yesterday? He said, "What?" He says, "What? I didn't eat the real meat." Yeah, well, that's what we usually say. Here we learn a little differently. We usually say that, but here they didn't say that. He means I never really into it properly. The other place where you say that, here they learn it differently. I never really got. Yeah, here's metaphor. No, but other places we really learn like that. You need meat to think clearly. Yeah, here it's more. Yeah. Yeah, but other places we really say it. Meat helps you learn, makes you stronger to learn. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then I have a problem though. 1 second. If it's really true that what they even pay 5 halves, so then what's the difference between the beginning and the end? Okay, how come the lifetime of the father he pays and not? So what? Even afterwards, he should pay the estate the 5.5 cows. What's the problem? He says, well, my shana sefer. Why is the ratio different and the sefer is different? Okay, a sefer is different. The answer is what? He said to him, I'll tell you. He says to him, what's the difference? He says like this: Reisha Karinim Bay Utabracho Kula Bisura. Because it's what Kudabacho, you have to shecht it. The whole shechting has to be asr. Sefer, since it's Sefer, he's already inherited the cow. Look, it's not the whole thing. Why? Because since what? Because only part of it is asr to him, part of it's already mutter because he inherited it. That's not called shechting somebody else's thing. So really, somebody else's thing. So the reason that he's pater is not because it's half cows. It's pater because what? The shechita wasn't a forbidden shechita because he owned part of it. That's a different reason entirely. Okay, we'll call that a dafir, but have a wonderful shot.
It's actually a daf.
Yeah.
Love that.
He's if anything he does to his detriment, he's not a shliach anymore. I told the story here. I really feel bad because this famous guy. Listen, a beautiful story. Famous in their big fight. Big famous guy. He's under the chuppah. He's the Masadic tradition. So the rabbi makes 2 brachas, and the chassan can say amen. He makes the bracha. He says, and instead of making hagofen, he makes under the chuppah. He makes loud until he makes a shakel. Listen, he makes a shakel, and then he immediately goes back and says a hagofen, and everybody's mishtomim. What halacha? If you make a mistake, you say a shakel on anything. What? It's good. The whole olam, the whole sugar. This guy's supposed to be a tabacham. You don't know. You have to be the shakel is good. They ran to him. Said, why did you repeat the bracha? He said, because the rule is, if you're a shaliach of somebody and you go against them and you do anything to their detriment, you cease to be a shaliach. He says, I am the proxy of the chassan and kal to say the bracha for them. I was supposed to say for them a hagofen. He says, and since I said a shakel, even though for myself a shakel would work instead of a hagofen, they were supposed to get a hagofen. When I said the shakel for them, I didn't represent them. They never got a bracha. They never heard the bracha. So I had to say hagofen. Isn't that amazing? But on the spot, who thinks like that? The other people disagree, but who would think like that on the spot?
Come up with that without anything.
Yeah, on the spot. Amazing. I'm sorry, I read who it was. I just don't remember. I'll see. I'll tell you.